Today on Media Litter Sandwich, we talked about
smoking in the boys'
No,
room.
we talked about the First Amendment rights and kids.
Oh, wait a minute.
Out.
Oh, come
I
on.
thought there was something
I thought
on
we were
guns in
talking
there.
about, you know,
no, we don't stay away
other
from
countries.
guns,
You
Oh,
know?
that's right.
countries. No, this one.
Organ harvesting. Come on.
Welcome to Media Litter Sandwich, where we got media creators talking about the world around creating media. With me is Mark from
CrazyMark.com.
William from,
allaboutwilliam.com.
and I'm Toaden from Toaden.com and YouTube.com/ToadenK, where you'll find the video versions of Media Litter Sandwich, or you can go to the website MediaLitterSandwich.com, or you can find us on Stitcher, iTunes, Podknife, Podbean, whatever, a bunch of stuff, Spotify. And wow, I'm looking at my shirt, and it's almost blending into the background here, even though I'm wearing
Dude,
purple.
man, you're like a floating
And,
spirit.
Yeah, I'm wearing purple, and the background is blue, so I'm thinking there's something with the color. Oh, I'm not going to worry about that right now.
Chroma check.
I think it's just dark in this area. We'll fix the lighting for the next show.
Spotlight mode.
Yeah, the video version is different than the audio version. And, you know, often in our minds, and like right now, it might actually show up differently on the editing software too than what we're seeing on our monitor, which isn't even a real monitor. It's a TV, so it's not really color checked the way a real monitor is. But, you know, things look different in our heads and what we realize what it is, because most people think a TV is also a monitor. It is not. Just like the First Amendment isn't always what a lot of people think it is. And I have a copy of the Bill of Rights in my office, actually. I forgot to grab it. I don't know if you want to grab it or not. It's on the nightstand.
You know what? That should help a bit.
Yeah, it's on the nightstand right next to the desk. So
Yes.
So it's on the left. It's right on top of the nightstand.
on the nightstand. Right on.
Yay.
Here we go.
Yeah, I had a writing teacher in college, that the first day of class, he handed out the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, to every single student. He says, "Keep this on you," and I have. It's quite often in my camera bag, actually.
Wow.
And it's just one of those things where it kind of just reminds you, and you look through it. And in case you didn't notice, one of my pet peeves recently is people crying First Amendment rights.
Is this it right
Yep.
here?
Yes, that is it.
That is it.
That thing right. Hey, wait a minute. That's.
Most people are listening to this
Yeah.
anyway. Don't take time and just throw it in front of the camera. No
But
one
there it
wants
is.
to. It's not going to come out right anyways, and people are mostly listening. But anyways, First Amendment rights. So, have you guys recently heard people whine about First Amendment when it doesn't really apply?
All the time.
Yeah.
Give me an example, William.
Oh, everybody's complaining on Facebook and YouTube lately when either of those two platforms comes down on them for something that they're saying. Usually if it's something that is controversial, they'll say, "We don't want that on our platform," and they'll go, "You're violating my First Amendment rights."
No, they're not, because they own. YouTube owns that platform. Therefore, they're not violating your First Amendment. Your First Amendment is Congress shall make no law respecting any... Oh, wow, I'm all messed up tonight. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging of freedom of speech or of the press or of the right people peacefully to assemble and the petition the government for a redress of grievances. So what the amendments are, they are the laws that the government must obey. We have more laws than any of us even knows about, and all we have are the amendments as our laws for the government. Those are the rules the government has to follow. A lot of people don't understand. They think everyone has to, a private entity has to obey the amendments. No, a private entity owns their ground. The amendments are for the government. It says you shall not make a rule so that you shall not make laws to prohibit my right of speech.
So you're talking about federal government, not just municipalities, local municipalities.
Right.
Yeah, where they say, okay, you're in Taco Bell, you better lower the volume on your radio or we're going to come haul you away. So
Taco Bell owns their land.
Yeah, so there you go.
And there's other things and things there. So YouTube, just because YouTube tells you, hey, you can't post gun videos anymore, they are in their right. I think it's dumb because, YouTube is the place to go look at any videos, including gun safety.
Oh, yes.
Oh my man! I'm trying not to make this political, but
Well,
this is really affecting us.
See, yeah, the thing was when the internet started out, it was supposed to be, oh yeah, kumbaya, my friend, kumbaya.
No, it wasn't.
We'll show any
Get
video.
outta here.
We'll show any
Get
video. It was
outta
freedom.
here.
No, Toaden,
Kumbaya.
it was all about freedom. It's about freedom of
People
everything
looked at
and
it as
anything.
the Wild West.
Yes, it's
Yes.
the Wild
and
West.
people still thought of it that way when it wasn't.
But the thing is that now all of a sudden everybody's becoming politically correct. So then there's these guidelines now they're working on. What can you and can't you show? They're becoming more
And
stringent.
do your research. 'Cause
Micromanaging.
Honestly, anything we say about YouTube rules and regulations or Facebook rules and regulations, they could be thrown out the window tomorrow.
Oh,
so
yes.
we're not going to go over that because we don't know what tomorrow's going to hold.
It could be a coup.
Yeah, we don't know. By the time this comes out, it's gonna whatever we say could be outdated.
There's a couple channels that I watch that are currently petitioning Google to clarify their new rules that they're coming out with.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, we have channels leaving YouTube and posting on Pornhub
Oh, yes.
because they don't have to worry about censorship over there.
Clips for sale.
I mean, that okay. I mean, we're always looking for new platforms, but people are misusing this whole freedom of speech, and
Right.
and we are to a point reporters sometimes. I don't really call myself a journalist, but we go on press passes, media passes, when
Yep.
we're covering things. And just because someone tells us, "Hey, you can't go over there," that's not restricting any of my rights. It's private.
But all this stuff where they're cracking down on the web, and Mark Zuckerberg really made a statement about it just a couple hours ago when he was being interviewed, that maybe they should hire on more people to monitor the internet and be held accountable, and pretty much make it a PG-17 rated area instead of all of a sudden let anything and everything happen. Once again, it's about hiring and making new jobs. Hey, that'd be a great thing there,
That's
Hey,
because
jobs, let's make jobs,
that's
hey, why
because
not?
the day after Easter there was a live broadcast in which somebody shot somebody live on the air. That was pretty much him saying that I need to hire people to police my platform. That's a different topic than what we're talking about.
Well, you
right
know
now.
what? Using that to hire people instead of just making walkouts, doing walkouts and whining and crying about
What's
stuff.
making
to make a
anybody
difference,
do what? No, the First Amendment's not making anybody do anything.
Yeah.
And you are talking about a completely different topic because
So-
it's not your First Amendment right.
Yeah, it is my right to.
It's not your
free-
First Amendment
free
right
speech,
to
ladies and gentlemen.
broadcast. Mark, it is not your First Amendment right to broadcast a live murder.
To
That
broadcast
is
a live
not
murder.
because that's what you're talking about.
Well, no, I wasn't
Yes.
talking about
Yes.
broadcasting a live
Yes,
murder.
that is
Yes.
what you're talking about. Mark Zuckerberg said he needs to hire more people to police his platform because of people because it's happened on Facebook too. People
Yep.
broadcasting live of people shooting each other. So that's what he was talking about. It's not all about the internet. It's nothing about free speech because it's a privately owned thing.
Well, maybe they
So
should
that is
go,
not violating.
Maybe
So
they
let me go
should
back to what I was saying before you brought up
refer
Mark
to
Zuckerberg.
China and how they control their affairs on
Okay.
platforms.
So walking into a place. I don't know how many times I've walked into a convention or I was on a privately owned thing where I see a photographer pointing their camera at somebody and taking pictures without their permission, and like, well, I'm with the press. I should be able to take their picture. Yeah, no.
No.
Go ahead, William. Go into that.
Oh, yeah, no. You always should find out what the photography policy is wherever you're going, because you have a lot of places, a lot of conventions that are especially nowadays going to requiring even their press people to get consent from people that go into their conventions. There is a huge long rant that I could do on that one.
So is there a place where people don't have what is legally called expectation of privacy, where you can photograph them in public?
Pretty much outside in public areas where
Publicly owned areas, such
Um,
as on a sidewalk. And of course, that doesn't mean it's free for all on a sidewalk. No, it's if they think that it's a privacy thing, then it's theirs, and that's not protected by the First Amendment.
Nope.
The First Amendment means something a little bit different. But let's say that person is participating in a parade.
yeah.
Then they're fine. Then you're fine, because you can't exactly stop the parade. Hey, is it okay for me to take your picture? I've actually had people walk into an event, things going on the sidewalk. They literally walk right in front of all the cameras and started talking to somebody and interact like they were dressed as a zombie, and they started interacting with them. And I got it on film, and they looked at me and they said, "Please don't use that anywhere." And I'm like, dude, you just walked into my shot in the public, on a public street where there's signs up and there's everyone knows there's an event, and you interacted with an actor, and you're telling me not to use it? Dude, you had no expectation of privacy going into that. Why were you went in and played with the zombie? First off, why would you go up to someone dressed as a zombie like, bite me?
And they're all just like, don't use my picture. Oh.
Yeah, it's like, no, you do not have any rights there.
Nope.
Now, I'm going to respect you, and if I can't, I'm not going to use it. But that's just because I'm a nice guy. I don't have to do that. I just don't want to. I just don't want to deal with anything.
I think people are just getting too uptight about stuff, man.
Yeah. Other things I'm hearing First Amendment cry, and again, I'm not trying to make this political, but but this is a First Amendment issue, is the walkouts, because people are claiming, like, when all these students left school for a walkout, they're claiming that's their First Amendment right to right to protest.
And I remember that day. What were you doing there, Toad?
Well, what do you mean?
work.
I was watching a lot of these live feeds.
So you were watching live feeds. What about you, William?
I was at work.
I was at college, and it just happened.
It didn't just happen. It was planned for
Yeah,
months.
I know.
What
It's
is
planned.
this? Where were you? Most people don't know because they weren't paying attention. Like, at the time, they're watching on the news later on.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much common knowledge.
Yeah, it was common.
It was common knowledge.
People
But
knew
pretty
it was
much,
happening
as far as
for
things
months.
go. But as far as
Where
things
were
go,
you?
Toad,
It just happened.
well, gee, it just happened. Yeah,
No,
a lot of
it
stuff just
didn't.
happens. But anyway, no. It was like you
was
were
a
talking about
well-planned event.
Oh yeah, it was
Yes.
well planned. But you were talking
It
earlier
was.
about peeps.
Yeah.
More or less like
There
okay.
was schools with PA systems set up for the students to go express
yeah.
their freedom of speech. Well, guess what? Most places, there's no place that you'll ever work, or at least let's assume most probably never work, where you're just like, well, I'm going to go walk out and protest, but I'm going to do it on your front lawn, and you are going to give me a PA system to talk about it. What? That's one. That's not a walkout, because a lot of these students were not saying the students should have been punished,
Yep.
but the walkout, the purpose of a walkout is literally to walk out and and to accept any punishment that comes your way, because it's how you feel. and I'm sure most of the students that walked out would agree with it.
Now, what's this
and
you're
the
saying
ones that don't are the ones that walked out just because they could get out of class.
Now, there was
'Cause
something you were
that
saying
happened,
earlier.
too.
Yes.
You were saying something earlier about you either had to go to study hall or you had to go to the walkout. You could not stay in class.
I'm trying to talk about the First Amendment, but you know what? If you want to go there, there's hundreds and hundreds of schools in this.
Yeah.
So yes, there's bound to be one or two schools that that did some weird stuff. The one incident that we heard of that you're referring to is in a school. The kid in the class had a choice. He can either go with the rest of his students and walk out, or he could go to study hall. And he decided to stay in class, so he got suspended. He was suspended because he thought his place was in the class. But since so many students walked out and the teachers were joining the students, he had to go to study hall because there wasn't any supervision in the class. From what I understand, there was no supervision in that classroom, so that's why he had to choose. That doesn't really First off, this has nothing to do with that First Amendment. This was a political type move, and teachers should not have been a part of this. And I don't understand all these outside forces that had a part of it. There's no way in their safety protocols do they go, hey, by the way, if students decide to walk out of school to protest something, let's allow outsiders come in and help them and interact with the students on our grounds.
And what we're talking about
No.
walkouts and guns. It should have been a walkout on better parenting.
Okay, you know what? We're not talking about guns. I'm
But
trying
back
to
to the
stay
First
away.
Amendment.
I'm trying to stay away from the actual political thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
back
not
to
talking
your
about
First
the gun
Amendment.
part. I'm talking about, that's not covered underneath the First Amendment because they were actually on the property. They were on some of the more at the very least, a lot of the schools they went to the track and they just stood on the track, or they did laps for the 17 minutes, which was meant for a thing for the 17 students in Florida.
Yep.
And there was no speech, no nothing, and that's fine. However, that's still not First Amendment because they're on the school's property. They're not on public. The school's kind of odd because it is kind of public grounds, but it also isn't. So it's not considered public grounds just because you can't treat it like a public ground. I mean, maybe you guys will know a little more than that. Yeah. But you're not on the sidewalk. You need to be on the sidewalk, or you need to be so far away from the school grounds. Yeah. I know when I was in high school, if you're going to do something like that, they're going to tell you either get off the school grounds or get to class. Because at that point, you're loitering. But that's beside the point.
I still like the Grey Panthers approach. Just have a seat and don't do anything.
Right. I mean, and that's kind of also part of the thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think those schools that set up the PA systems, that is setting up a precedence that they can never live up to again.
No.
I mean, but that's not the First Amendment, right? The First Amendment is that the government shall not make any laws that restrict you, and a school making laws. School is not the government, and you're on their ground, so they can do that. I mean, I have a whole other rant about what I think about the public school system and the unrealistic rules they set upon students. Because let's face it, they don't really treat students like adults, not know. And they really do put some unrealistic. I mean, have you ever had a day job that said you could only go to the bathroom during this time and this time, and you have 5 minutes, and during that time you have to run to the other side of the facility?
There was a lawsuit. There was a lawsuit where something similar to that happened several years ago, where a company was caught doing that, timing people going to the bathroom, they were taken to court and they were slapped a huge fine.
Yeah, but apparently it's okay for schools to do that.
Hall pass.
Oh no, when I was in school, you're only allowed 3 or 4 hall passes a semester.
Uh-oh.
That's it.
They're afraid you
and that's not
smoking
3,
in
and
boys'
that's not 3 per class. That was 3 per semester.
Wow.
That wasn't. You had to actually carry a book with you
checking in the stall.
that they kept track in your book.
Smoking in the boys' room.
Because you don't need to tell me the rules, because everybody knows that
Smoking ain't allowed
in
in school.
Oh, see, this is why I don't do recordings after 9 o'clock. I'm way too loopy.
But yeah, First Amendment, I've heard some of that rhetoric spoken overseas now. There'll be some people from overseas, like in some countries, going, hey, it's my First Amendment right. It's like they're mimicking the Americans over in other countries going, hey, I've got freedom of speech, don't I?
So, you also get a lot of Americans that go over there and think that they still have our rights.
Let's check out your social media. What have you said about our country over the past 5 years? Oh, man. That was just recently, I think it was Malaysia passed a fake news rule, a law. So an outside court can pretty much catch whatever you've been posting and, pass a few
I just think it's interesting
judgments.
how we only have so many amendments to the Constitution to prohibit the government to make certain laws. And there's people out there that truly believe some of these amendments are outdated and need to go away. But you never hear them. Well, you do hear. There are a few people that do believe the First Amendment needs to be quote unquote updated as well, which would take away your freedom to say whatever you want online, because they want the online stuff included, and actually prohibit your speech online. And there's and majority of people, from what I understand, don't want that to happen. However, there's a lot of people that think other amendments should be updated and changed. And I'm not trying to get political once again, but let's talk about the Second Amendment. People want to alter the Second Amendment, thinking if they alter enough these amendments, they're not going to alter the First Amendment. If you grant them the right to alter an amendment, they're going to start altering all the amendments again. I mean, the First Amendment, there's already some really iffy areas. Technically, according to the First Amendment, you shouldn't have to get a permit to do a protest. A lot of places require a permit, from what I understand. But by the First Amendment, you don't need one. But most places still want to require one because it's just a safety thing. Especially if you have more than 15 people, then you're blocking the area. So I understand why they want you to acquire a permit. They just want you to be safe, and they want everyone around you to be safe. That does make sense.
There was a lawsuit 7 years ago in Dearborn, 7 or 8 years ago in Dearborn, where there was a preacher that was protesting, I want to say Islam, and they turned down his permit to protest. So he took him to court. He took him to court and actually won that case. I remember defending him but testifying.
You defended him.
Yeah, I went to court and testified in his defense. A whole bunch of people did.
Wait, how did you testify? Why were you even there?
He must be a great guy.
Well, here's the thing, though. Even though the preacher I don't agree with, and I didn't agree at all with his message, my logic is if they stopped him from being able to say what he wanted to say, what's going to stop them from coming at me to stop me from saying whatever they don't want me to say? That was my logic.
Because it's granting people the right to control your freedom of speach.
Come on, William. You and I both know he made great baklava, so. No, but anyway.
You're combining things, bro.
Yeah,
just a little bit, bro.
I love you, man, but come on. And the funny thing is us living near Dearborn, we know what baklava is, and we have it at way too many events. We go to an event, we just expect to see baklava there.
We do.
And it usually is.
Yep.
However, not everyone lives next to a very large Lebanese community.
Right. Or a Greek one, because I live.
Or Greek, that's
Because
right.
Southfield has a
Yeah,
strong Greek
all-
community.
Yeah. The whole thing with the First Amendment is fantastic. Here, being in the USA, that we have so many freedoms, so many people take for granted. You step outside the USA, and all it takes is one little joke. Like there was a comedian who ended up going to Abu Dhabi, and as soon as he got off the plane, no more than maybe 4 or 5 hours into his trip, he was pulled over by police. They checked his social media, and they threw him in jail just for joking about the Middle East, about Abu Dhabi. And here in the United States, they're not going to do that to you. I mean, true, they might give you a little bit of a hassle back, but nothing to the extent of anything outside of the USA. And recently I had a run-in on Instagram with a quote-unquote friend, and there was an interesting exchange, and now I really, at first I was saying to myself, true, we all can pretty much live and love well together, and brother, sisterhood, harmony, and all that other good stuff. But I want to salute all the guys and gals in the military keeping it safe out there. You guys rock, you gals rock, and I salute you.
Yeah, one thing that most veterans agree with. I wouldn't say all because there's always exceptions, but most veterans, including myself, we agree that that veterans because they're following orders when they go overseas and stuff. They're following orders,
Yeah.
But they, most of us join with the idea that we're trying to protect something, protecting your right to protest whatever you want. So it doesn't matter if, I agree or not agree. Like you're saying, I don't agree with this person has to say, but he has the right to say it. Because if you are stopping him from saying what he wants to say, you're eventually probably going to stop me from saying what I want to say. And it's just one of those, it's a logical thing. It truly is. If you want to stop somebody's right from doing something, well, guess what? You are setting a precedent that could eventually stop your rights from doing something. Let's look at smoking. We did all the, smoking's no longer allowed in restaurants. Smoking's no longer allowed, at least in Michigan. I don't know about all the states, but in Michigan, you can't smoke in a restaurant. You can't smoke in any building. And they are, even you can't even have a smoker's area, even in a patio, a patio. That's actually supposedly against the law. I know a lot of places do it. There's still restaurants that have, that allow smoking in there, but technically they're not supposed to. Legally, they're not supposed to. But, the patio areas that used to be the smoke pits, you're technically not even supposed to smoke in those because it's on their property. You're supposed to walk out to the sidewalk away from them,
Right.
which makes no sense at all.
And you can't even smoke right by the front door. You have to be 100 feet or something away from the door.
Yeah,
can't remember.
and they tried to enforce that even in arenas. And baseball stadiums and football stadiums, good luck. They can't, but some of them try. But
I know they've tried to do it at some of the cons we go to too. They've tried to enforce that, but you can't. There's too many smokers that go to the bigger ones. So
right, so if they're trying to do stuff like that, imagine what else they can do because now they set that precedence,
right.
where they control what's in the air. Does that So vaping's probably next.
No, it actually already is.
It already is.
They lumped it in with smoking.
Okay.
Yep.
Even if it's not nicotine.
Right.
So what else could be put in that?
We're talking about oh, yeah. I was about to go towards the Bob Marley and Peter Tosh.
Oh,
route,
that's
but-
already in there. That's already
But yeah,
federally.
yeah.
That's interesting because federally that's illegal. Although some states it's legal. So
And-
it had some really weird stuff. I'm
And-
not a lawyer. Don't listen to me. I don't know.
And be sure it's decriminalized. It can be legalized, but be sure it's decriminalized. That's the key word.
Yeah, but you can't always do that on a federal level. States can do whatever they want, but it's not federally. My lease to my apartment, it says even if you have a medical marijuana card, you cannot smoke on the premise because federally it's illegal. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because on one hand, I don't people go, I don't care what you think, I'm gonna say this, and then they say it's my freedom of speech. It's no, maybe, but how are you portraying your freedom of speech? Is it infringing on anyone else's anything.
Yeah, when does it become slander?
Me talking right here, this is sort of freedom of speech, but it's also like I could say whatever I want on this microphone.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in my own place.
Yep.
However, wherever I post this, they have their right to not release it. They have their right to delete it off their site. You know, no matter where this is, they have that right because they own it.
And that all goes back to YouTube again. They have the right to keep and disregard what people post.
Yeah. I mean, they used to do it pretty responsibly. Like, we're only going to delete stuff that may get us in trouble because we're not going to hire lawyers to defend our site on your behalf, especially if we know you're wrong. You cannot rip a video and post it on YouTube and claim freedom of speech. That is wrong on so many levels. But guess what? People have claimed that.
They have.
I mean, that was all well and fine maybe back in
No, it's
2000.
not well.
No,
It never was.
never was.
No, listen in.
Okay,
Maybe-
I'll listen. But if
maybe
you're
it
wrong,
was-
I'm throwing something at you.
Maybe it was all well and fine because it's easier to control back in 2008, 2007. But now that you have millions of more videos up there, it becomes even more difficult to control, difficult to monitor.
Mark, it's vice versa, so I'm throwing something at you.
What? Prove it.
Because the
algorithms?
bots weren't, the algorithms weren't as sophisticated in 2007 as they are now, and the laws, and their own guidelines are more solidified now. They actually have a better idea what those guidelines are, and the bots, the algorithms and the bots
Then
identify stuff within a few seconds of you even uploading.
Oh, really?
So it's actually easier for them, and that's and that goes to the point of a lot of times I have to defend my own stuff because hey, look, this music is used over here. Do you own the rights to this? And then all I have to do is yes, I have permission.
Yeah, it's effective with music.
I just dealt with this the other day when I was uploading a Lords of October interview. We included a music video.
Yeah.
I uploaded like 2-3 days in advance to as a schedule, and so within that time,
Music,
the
yes.
music hit on CD Baby because
Music.
that's how Lords of October is distributing their music. So
Music, a smaller file.
So on the behalf of CD Baby, on behalf of Lords of October, this music is being held, whatever. Okay, no, I have permission. Everything's fine. Within like 10 minutes. Okay, cool. Everything's cleared. Of course, in that time, I also sent an email to the band. Hey, by the way, this is happening. You could probably ignore it, but I'm just letting you know.
Well, cool.
And everything was fine.
I'm glad we all know where it stands with music. But when it comes to video,
That's not where all stands with music.
yeah. But when it comes
Dude,
time
you
for
didn't
video,
even listen.
Dude, no, I
didn't
did.
even listen.
You were talking about
You know,
small
we're
sound
gonna-
files.
we are
You're talking
going
about
to
sound
bring in-
files that are like this. We're talking about video files for the algorithms to catch. I've been on
you know
YouTube,
what? You know
and
what?
I've seen questionable
Next
stuff up
week.
there for days.
No, is it next week? No, not next week. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We're going to bring in an expert on the music. On the music
right on,
copyrights.
yeah.
We're going to bring in an expert. We're bringing in Kevin MacLeod. We're bringing
Because-
us from Incompetech.com.
Yeah.
His music is the most legally used music
Good.
on the internet.
Excellent.
We're bringing him
I
on
look forward to
this.
hearing that because I'll tell you,
And he's
music
gonna tell
is
you what a pain in the ass it is to get
music
music away
is
for
easy.
free.
Music is easy to spot by YouTube because I've been having
it's
No, it's
not.
not.
But
Music
no, no,
and
no, no.
video is the same thing to
No,
YouTube.
no.
Yes.
Music is a small file. Video
No.
is a huge
No.
file.
What-
Music, they'll catch you and they'll flag
hey,
you.
Toad,
right off the
when's the
bat.
last time you uploaded the audio file separate from the video file?
Oh, man.
No.
Because a video, you're going to upload the audio, and it's going to catch that audio within a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
If you
Audio,
put up
boom,
only
just
the
like that.
video, you might stand a little more of a chance, but honestly, the bots are still going to catch it.
I've been
somebody's
online
gonna catch it.
on YouTube, and I've seen video on there very questionable that's been on for months.
Well, that's gonna happen if it doesn't
It
get
is.
caught
What?
and nobody flags it.
Oh, here we
Wait,
go.
it's gonna
if
happen.
it doesn't get caught and then nobody flags it,
You know why? Because video files are huge.
No, that's not it.
Mark is probably talking about Nostalgia Critic or other very well-established YouTubers to actually have an idea what fair right of use is. And we're not going to go into that right now because there's so much weird stuff. And let's put it this way. If you're a big YouTuber with millions of subscribers, you can get away with a lot more than me. And no, that's not infringing on my First Amendment rights. That's YouTube going, you know what? This person's making me a ton of money. What are you doing for me? Nothing. So, you know what? We're going to protect our interest in this. And unless someone says anything about this big YouTuber, we're going to leave it alone. But for you, no.
And it's all because they're a private-owned corporation, not federal.
Well, they have the right because they're a private owned. They're doing it because of their own self-interest. And they are a company. If you are a company, you know, usually, I'm not going to say always, but usually a company puts their interests first. And of course you're going to, because they don't want to go under. You can't...
You got to sell them shares.
Dude, no, that's a publicly... that's different. Privately owned companies don't always have shares. Mark, go back to school. You know what? No.
Take a business class.
Go to business class.
No
man.
shirt, no shoes, no service. There.
Let's end right there.
There we go.
Let's end right there. I'm Toaden from Toaden.com and YouTube.com/ToadenK. With me has been Mark from
CrazyMark.com.
William from
AllAboutWilliam.com.
This episode's been way different than our normal episode. So
Oh,
please, if you
yes.
like this, comment, rate, subscribe, let us know. Email us at podcast@MediaLayersSandwich.com.
Let us know if you like that format.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it again. Maybe next time we'll be drinking and that
Yes.
makes it even
Ooh,
more.
yes.
And you could meet us. We're going to be at Lawrence Tech University's Anime Con, so LTU Anime Convention on April 21st.
Yeah.
We'll be at Penguin Con, May 4th, 5th, and 6th. William's doing a couple he's doing a photography.
Yeah, I got a photography panel taking photos in bad lighting. And basics in household repair.
Okay.
And of course the podcast.
Yep, and we'll be interviewing Mark O'Shara.
Oh, yeah.
How you saying it? O'Shara?
I'm actually not sure.
Okay.
We'll have to look that one up.
Okay, it's be on the website, and also you can find it at penguicon.org. So we'll be interviewing one of the guests of honors there. I'll also be doing panels on. The panel used to be called "Is YouTube Dying?" Now it's called. For some reasons people can find obvious. Now it's called "Why Are YouTubers So Angry?" or something. It's something close to that. And then I'll also be doing 2 more panels, or the other panels, finding guests for podcasts. And a panel about commenting. I forgot exactly, something about, talking to each other online. After PenguinCon, we have Downriver Comic Con.
That's going to be in June, the first weekend of June.
Okay. We
Okay.
also have Motor City SteamCon.
Yep, it's
That's
in July.
Yeah.
And
And,
okay, what else do we have?
offhand, I don't know.
We're working on a couple other cons. I know we're working on Troma Dance. We might be at Troma Dance.
Okay.
Which will not be in Detroit this year. It'll actually be in Hamtramck this year.
Oh.
Once that's solidified, I will say something. Oh, yeah, there's another thing I want to work on for the 4th of July weekend. I have not talked to you guys about this. But once I solidify it, and we'll talk about it after with this. But we're also we're also at a cons by ourselves, so make sure to check our social medias. You find them at crazymark.com, allthatwilliam.com, toaden.com, and medialittersandwich.com. Medialittersandwich.com mostly only have stuff for the entire podcast.
Yep.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and may the algorithms be in your favor.